For decades, the legacy of Creepshow has defined the standard of horror anthologies. From its iconic origins with the king of horror Stephen King and George A. Romero to the hit TV series Shudder, it has consistently delivered thrilling stories of macabre fun. A new iteration of this legendary anthology is back now with Skybound and Image Comics. This brand new comic book takes superheroes you love and mashes them up with terrifying horror elements, exploring how horribly wrong having superheroes can go. It takes your superhero fantasies and shows them to you through a nightmarish lens. This concept was, as expected, an absolute dream for the industry's writers and artists. It drew in talent like Kieran Gillen of The Wicked and the Divine and Once and Future fame, Ryan North, known for Hulk Smash Everything, and How to Invent Everything, a survival guide for the stranded time traveler, and Gary Duggan, whom you might recognize from his Deadpool comics. The trio has crafted some of the most gut-wrenching and twisted superhero tales that will have you rethinking your childhood wishes. So grab your capes and leave your lights on, as we are about to dive deep into the whole thing. An actual Spider-Man. Marcus is out of place everywhere. He doesn't fit in with his peers, he doesn't know what his place in the world is, and to top it all, he often gets bullied by Duncan. It's just another day in his life when he gets tripped by Duncan in his school, who calls it a school trip. That awful pun actually gives him an idea to take a trip when he should be at school, and he heads to a deserted shack. This shack was a haven for slackers and Marcus's personal hideout. The first and only person who gets the location of the shack is Beth, a girl from school whom Marcus is trying to impress. Marcus thinks Beth only hangs out with him because he gives her drugs, but Marcus likes drugs too, and he calls it a win that both of them at least have that in common. The two teens are incredibly shy and introverted, and the drugs helped them come out of their shell. It's supposed to be just another day for the two, hanging out in the shack talking about drugs, till they tumble into another topic of conversation, when a spider crawls up to Marcus's neck and bites him. Marcus smacks the spider immediately, and the spider dies, exploding green blood all over his palm. Beth notices that it's a super weird creature, but Marcus, having been preoccupied with getting high, throws the mangled body of the spider out and gets back to business. The next week, though, things start to change. Marcus wants to sleep a lot, and because of that, he begins to miss a lot of school. Neither of those things are abnormal when it comes to Marcus, though, so he doesn't worry about it. He also begins to get a pain in his rear, kind of like constipation. When he looks at himself in the mirror, he sees his face has become a mess. It was filled with so much acne that they were merging with each other. Boils surrounded his eyes, and his lips had swollen. That scares him enough to go to a doctor, but not before hiding his face in a hoodie. On his way, as if his luck could not get any worse, who should he run into but his bully, Duncan? Duncan demands to know where he's going in such a rush, and Marcus's guts move, solving the problem of constipation. A white sticky liquid oozes out of him, and Duncan announces to everyone that Marcus just shat himself. There's a part of Marcus that wants to just call him an asshole and point out that shit is not white. But another part of him, a much more powerful part, takes over and he lunges at Duncan. He jumps on Duncan, revealing his face, which now has multiple pairs of eyes and fangs like a spider. He tears into him, demolishing his skull, and as he looks at the bloody dead body of his bully, he realizes that it's not just a case of bad mushrooms he's dealing with. Like any teenager, Marcus is scared his parents will find out and hides out in the shack, the only place he feels safe, as he knows no one will be able to find him. No one except Beth. Beth walks in that night with a torchlight and finds Marcus huddled up against the wall, covered with a blanket. He pleads with Beth to leave him alone, explaining that the spider bite has affected him, but Beth refuses to leave her friend alone. She promises him she is safe and gently places her hand on his shoulder. The response is immediate as Marcus gets hit with the urge again and he bites into her neck. It's both the last thing he wants to do and the only thing he wants to do. He manages to pull himself off of her and apologizes, begging for her to go, as he's a monster who can't control himself. Beth surprisingly does not mind though, and tells him that not being able to control himself is pretty normal for a teenage boy. Teenage boys also don't have distorted spider-like faces, Beth. I'm not the only one confused by Beth's reaction, as Marcus too asks if she's cool with everything. Beth tells him that she was scared at first, but now she thinks he looks cute. She asks him to figure this out while hiding in the shack, and that she will bring him whatever he needs. Their arrangement lasts for a week. Marcus begins to grow extra limbs and covers the entire shack with spider webbings. Since Marcus had bitten Beth, she too begins to change, and once her face looks like Marcus's, she decides to hide out in the shack with him. She doesn't mind though, as she feels different and likes it. Marcus tries to remember something about spiders from biology, but he's too distracted by Beth. The two are attracted to each other and make love on a spider web built by Marcus. For a few brief moments, Marcus believes he has found his place. It's here with Beth in the shack. He feels complete, but soon nature takes over and Beth, following the natural instincts of a female spider, kills the male spider she just mated with. Weeks later, two scientists find the spider that started it all by the shack and are glad that it's dead. As they peer into the shack, they realize they might have thanked their lucky stars way too soon. They open the shack to capture the human spider inside, but are met with a horde of tiny, human baby spider hybrids rushing at them to protect their mother. Creep pops up and tells us that it's the oldest story in the world. Boy meets girl, girl eats boy, and happily ever after with 24,000 children. Yikes! Now for some speed. The next story is about Ron and Betty. High school kids who are social outcasts, but they have each other, and that's more than enough. Ron's favorite superpower to have was super speed. There are a lot of superheroes to back it up too. Flash and Quicksilver to name two. Ron is practical though. He thinks super speed beats both invisibility and flight, as he can move fast enough to look like he is invisible and get anywhere quickly. With super speed, Ron could do anything he wanted to, and he thinks he will be a god. Betty asks him if he's going to be a kind god, and Ron tells her that since he has been bullied all his life, he would be benevolent and protect everyone. Betty believes that and bids him goodbye. The next morning, when Ron wakes up, he finds a strange ring under his bed. It has a blue stone and a lightning bolt symbol on it. He wonders who put it there, but puts on the ring anyway and goes on his usual morning jog. That's when he realizes that he is running faster than he has ever run before. He outruns cars and pushes himself further. He begins to move so fast that he runs across town dozens of times within a second, and the entire universe appears frozen around him. He helps whoever he sees. First, he stops the bullet shot by a robber at a grocery shop owner and rescues a dog about to be hit by a truck. He wonders what made the dog run into traffic and turns around to see his bully Aaron banging a pot and pan to scare the dog. He decides to teach him a lesson, a harmless one, and ties his shoelaces together. When Ron stops, Aaron crashes right onto his face and Ron giggles in glee. Aaron watches that and hits Ron's face with the pan. Ron's glasses break and he begins to bleed from his nose. Having had enough of Aaron's bullying, Ron punches Aaron before he can even see him. Aaron had bullied Ron for years and had never paid for it, so Ron decides that now is the time to get him back. He breaks both his arms and tells him that actions speak louder than words. As Aaron lies on the ground bleeding and broken, Ron thinks of all the people who were cruel to him and starts punching them. After he's done with them, he turns his attention to the people who had not been completely nice to him, as he is angry that they never cared. Ron had always worried about the unfairness of the world, but now he could actually do something about it. Betty wakes up, unaware of the adventure her friend has been having, puts on music, and gets on with her day when she hears screaming. She rushes down to the living room where her parents are watching their windows in shock. Everyone around them is hurt and bleeding. The roads are covered with people begging for help. Ron finally stops, happy with his work, but his body refuses to obey him. He cannot leave hyperspeed anymore. He tries to get the ring off of his finger, but his skin had absorbed it completely. He rushes to Betty's house, trusting that she will know what to do, as he is now surrounded by people who can't even sense him. Betty and her parents watch the roads in shock, wondering what they're supposed to do when suddenly the walls of their house are covered with writing. Desperate pleas from Ron telling her that he is stuck in speed and that he cannot go back, begging her to help him. Betty sees the sudden changes in the walls and screams. She's terrified and rushes to her room, hoping she'll be safe there, but she sees more words appearing on the wall, telling her that she is the only good one and that he will make sure nobody will ever hurt her again. The screams outside die away and are replaced by the stench of death. Betty tries everything to stop him. She shouts, she texts, but nothing works. People begin to drop like flies all over the world, and soon Betty is the only one alive. He refuses to let her die, even by starvation, as he anticipates her every move and reacts before she can do anything. She is alone in the world now and can't even listen to the radio, as every channel she turns to is just static. Creep comments on how Ron couldn't help but move quickly and how it's a pity, as Ron and Betty were fast friends. I can't decide whose fate is worse. Marcus, who got killed, Ron, who is stuck in hyperspeed, or Betty, who is cursed to live a safe life alone. Beth seems happy with her life, so I'm not going to include her in the list. I liked both stories in different ways. The spider story was creepy and straight up nightmare fuel, while the hyperspeed story is psychologically jarring. Which one of the two did you like? Let me know in the comments below, and if you liked the video, tap that thumbs up, subscribe to us, and ring that bell to never miss an update from our awesome channel. We'll soon be back with more awesome stuff, and until then, goodbye!